a lot of respect for Ohio State, for Ryan Daniel's program. Just saw C.J. Stroud out there, and my heart goes out to those guys because they played well enough to win the game, and got a really good football team. So do we, and our guys are extremely resilient. We talked halftime about some games we've been in this year. We've been behind in the Missouri game, and I had no doubt that our team would come out fighting. Did not play our best football game. A lot of that had to do with Ohio State. I have a lot of respect for them. I have a lot of respect for these players that are on this podium with me and the ones in the locker room. And if we want any chance of winning a national championship, we have to play a lot better football than we played tonight. But we got to keep the resiliency and composure along with us.
All right, we'll go into questions. Raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. Let's go right over here, midway on the right side. Yep, next line, next time.
Coach, there was a lot of rotation, especially defensively, with guys like Tresman Marshall, Ryan Davis, Marvin Jones all stepping in to play roles. Was that a thing to adjust to Ohio State's tempo? And then also, how would you rate those players that came in and played roles after maybe not playing a lot this season?
Well, we wanted to play a lot of players. When you get this late in the season, guys get winded. It's an up-tempo game. So, we say if you're good enough and you practice well enough, you should play. And we felt like against LSU, we had some guys that got winded in the game. And we wanted to play Tresman and Ryan. And Marvin had to play. We had Chaz go down with an injury. And Darnell go down with an injury. We had guys at one point, we had our third and fourth string guys on special teams that have not even played all year. So we're at the point in a long season where it's accumulating and you're having to play a lot of guys who maybe haven't played.
All right, right here, Alex.
Kirby, can you kind of walk us through what you saw to call that timeout on that fake punt? Kind of walk us through that moment.
And they just were not in their traditional formation. So a lot of teams carry that speed break. They come up the line quick. Everybody's lined up tight. We've seen it, in the SEC. A lot of teams carry it, and you try to practice it, but it's another thing when they actually do it and execute it. So it was one of those gut reactions that I didn't think that we had it lined up properly to stop it, and so we'll call timeout.
All right, we'll go right next door, Jeff. Go, Jeff.
Two questions. First, Kirby, can you say what you said to Stetson coming off the field there at the end of the first half? And then Stetson, on that last drive, some of your teammates talked about how everybody said stuff in the huddle before the last touchdown drive. And if you could just recall what was said and what you said also.
Coming off the field in the second half, it was really simple. I mean, we had to make a decision whether we wanted to go after it, and go try to score with, I don't know, we didn't have much time left, but we did have timeouts. And at the time, I felt like every possession was valuable, and I wanted to be aggressive. And we called a play, they batted the ball. We called another play, and he was in the pocket for a while, threw the ball a little high over the middle, and put us at risk. And I told him, if we're going to trust you to do this in 2 minutes, you got to make good decisions. If it's not there, take off and run. And they almost got an interception, which could have been really costly. We just talked about the 2-minute drive. That's really it.
As far as the huddle, I don't know. I mean, I don't really recall, words, but just looking at everybody and saying, all right, hey, we hadn't played our best, and we hadn't done our jobs to the best of our ability, but hey, we're here now, and it's in our hand now. Defense stood up whenever we needed them to, and where else would you rather be? Having the ball with 2 minutes left, and if you score a touchdown, you win the game. And I looked around, and there's just a whole bunch of just determined, strong stares from all the dudes, and gave me confidence. Everybody else had confidence when we went down the field.
Right here in the front on the right.
Yeah, I guess when I saw Kirby and Javon against that Ohio State offense, they were clicking, they're running. Javon, I guess I'll start with you. The resiliency you guys have shown all year. I mean, when a team's clicking like that, connecting like that, how do you stay in it, stay that resilient? Where's the mindset at? And I guess I'd ask Kirby, what are you trying to do on defense to get a guy like Stroud out of rhythm when he's hitting like that?
Well, we give a lot of credit to Ohio State. Those guys made plays when they needed to make plays. But we knew coming into the game it wasn't going to be perfect. You go into a game like this, college playoff, we know you're going to give us some plays. They're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays. You can't get up. You can't get too high up. You can't get too low. So we knew, like I said, we were going to have to rely on the connection that we built throughout the offseason and the resiliency. I couldn't be more proud of the team.
Yeah, a lot of credit goes to them. I mean, we tried man, we tried zone, we mixed it up. Probably the most disappointing thing was the series before the half. You know, like they earned it most of the time, and we had some stops. We had some big stops, some big momentum stops in the first half, and then we had some big momentum stops in the second half. But the one before the half is probably the one that really, we had seized a little momentum there, and they went to the half with the momentum after that. That's probably the most disappointing thing that we had. But hey, look, they got really good playmakers, and they got a guy that can throw the ball to them. They got a really good offensive line. They can score points. And if you can't, at halftime, I told our guys, we have way more rushing yards than they do. When you look at college football playoff games, the team that rushes the ball better almost wins 95% of the time. But that wasn't the case because we had 4 missed sacks, and they had 1 sack. So if you miss 4 sacks and they get 1 sack, and you have a turnover, there's usually going to be some tough times there.
Zach?
I guess that's in for everybody. You said you wanted the ball in your hands, obviously, to win the game, but there was still time left, so you couldn't control that last play. What was it like just watching it, and it seemed like forever by the time the ball was snapped and eventually kicked?
Yeah, trust them. Then it's up, you know. We talked about, we had a little powwow there on the sideline in the fourth quarter, and you know, it wasn't going good. They were beating us. We had sucked on offense, and you know, it was just play by play, do your job. It doesn't matter what happens on the other side of the ball or another position. Do your job. And so we had done our job, and then we trusted the defense. And then at that point, you know, it was up to, you know, I guess the kicker.
Yeah, a question for Kirby and a question for Javon. For Javon, if you could go through the play where you broke up the pass for Harrison in the end zone. And then for Kirby, did you get word on the headset about the formation in the punt, or did you see that yourself on the sideline?
It was really just a CJ scrambled. He made a play with his feet, threw the ball up in the air, and I seen Marvin's hands going for the ball, and just try to make a play when I could.
Yeah, for me, I saw them lined up in it, and there's a line that's a special teams line, but I was on the defensive line because we had just come off with a defensive stop, so saw the formation, and apparently they were saying something on the special teams line, but I wasn't on that line. I was on the defensive line and was prepared to call a timeout, which I don't like doing because it costs you possessions when you do that. You got to be prepared and not burn them.
All right, next we'll go over here. Ken?
Since then, I'll ask you 2 sequences. That 4th down pass to Bowers, I think you came off the field thinking you guys were short, and you were able to come back with that field goal. I'm curious kind of what that was, all that was like. And then the second, what was the design of the pass play to Arian that allowed him to get so open downfield?
Well, yeah, I think the whole stadium probably didn't get it. And then they reviewed it, and Brock was pretty dumbfounded because he was like, I think I got it. And I was like, well, I thought you did too, because the route, you'd catch it at 5 yards, and it was 4th and 6, and then I mean, people don't stop him for a yard, but I didn't know. And then we came out and I threw a lateral, anyways. And then, yeah, Arian, that one was just run fast, and he did, and he made the dude fall. Dude can do things that people can't do. He can run like people can't run, and he can go get the ball. And I was just, once I saw him, I think the whole sideline was standing up and saying, he's open. And so I just tried to put it on him.
All in back and left.
Stetson, have you ever played in a game like that at any level?
No, probably not. That game was a good game. I mean, I'm looking at these stats right here, and they're pretty much dead even across the board. That was a special one.
Okay, right here on the left.
2 questions. Kirby, first speaking on Arian, the track speed that he has. I know he's like 10-1 in the 100, just that importance of having that speed there. And then Stetson, talking the other day about you sitting with your mom over Christmas break, talking about, could you imagine being here? What's the next conversation going to be after a game like this?
Well, I think I was saying that, I don't know, I think we'll probably hug, and, we're here now, it's not, we've been here for a while. Now we gotta take care of business. We gotta get prepared. We gotta, we got 9 days or whatever, to play a really good TCU team. And so we gotta prepare our butts off. We didn't play our best game, starting me, Coach Mark said in the locker room, we had 2 3-and-outs to start the second half, and like, that doesn't happen. And that falls on me, and that falls on our offense, and we got to fix that. And so we're going to go to work.
Mark?
Kirby, what's it like to win like this at the end compared to winning like the Rose Bowl at the end? And Stetson, do you remember the Rose Bowl? You didn't play obviously, but you had a lot to do with the scout team. Well, you got a lot of props for that.
Yeah, it's amazing anytime you win. I think emotionally it takes a lot more out of you to have a game like that as compared to, maybe the Michigan game was last year in terms of the game being over, in the fourth quarter. But this was emotional roller coaster. It was a back and forth game. It was who's going to blink. 2 really good teams fighting. And it sounds like they had a similar game back and forth. So it'll be 2 good teams playing for it next week.